Hello, I'm Lee James, host of Sports World on the BBC World Service. For the best of previews to the sporting weekend, listen to George Addo Jr. on The Locker Room on Joy 99.7 FM.
Live on radio, live online. This is The Locker Room on Joy 99.7 FM with George Addo Jr.
Save from Courtois. I tell you what, this keeper's in the mood.
Morris, brilliant turn. Morris shoots. Oh, goal! That was magnificent.
Fred strikes it. It's in. An absolute screamer from Fred.
Jorginho slots it into the corner. Perfect penalty from the Brazilian.
Into the area it goes. Oh, what a header! Arturo Vidal powers it home. The very definition of a bullet header from the Chile international.
The ball is played through to Pogba, who shoots low and in. It's 4-0, and Paul Pogba has the goal that his all-round play here today deserved.
Transfer activity done. Players unite, and in the spirit of club rivalry, must focus on the ultimate. The rather short road for managers has been handed with targets firmly in sight. Administrators are mentally preparing a pre-season report. Fans and media look forward to a brand new season.
Game Premier League season.
Lukaku's in behind. Oh, what a finish! Glorious dink-chip finish from Romelu Lukaku.
Lacazette holds onto the ball, tries to pull it back, and Arsenal lead. And it's Xhaka.
Maguire with the header. It's not in by Kane. Harry's done it for St George.
De Bruyne to the edge of the area. Oh, that was unbelievable as De Bruyne rifled the ball past Alisson.
Eden Hazard buries it in the bottom corner. The star man scores the penalty.
Fernandinho! What a goal! Oh, he hit that so well. It flew past Begovic, and that finishes it.
When the referee's whistle sounds, when the beautiful flicks and tricks account for the goals and wins, when the referee's whistle sounds, when the beautiful...
Tonight at Old Trafford, Liverpool welcome West Ham to Anfield, Chelsea our way to Huddersfield, and Manchester City open the defence of their title at Arsenal. Analysis to come. But even more critically, since 2009, no EPL champion has succeeded in defending the trophy. Can Manchester City dare to break that?
Points. When the people say, can you improve 100 points? Say no. No, because we are not here for do that. But individually, the player can improve. You play with the right, you can improve with the left. Of course, you can improve. If I would feel we cannot improve the team, I would call my chairman. I would say, okay, I leave because no sense. Still, we feel, Mikel, Rodo, the people within the staff, we believe we can do better, dominate more, and try to do.
That's a lot of work, but in his third season at Manchester City, should Pep Guardiola be more concerned about winning the EPL rather than the Champions League?
It's not just by saying, but their attitude. They must get ready. They must be match ready for the game. I've made them aware, and the battle line has been drawn.
We have our eyes on the ongoing FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup, with the final game of the Black Princesses to come against New Zealand. Head to our Facebook page, Joy/99.7, or WhatsApp line 0244340437, or tweeted us at JoySportsGH in reacting to our question of the day. We are in Montreal for updates from the ongoing Rogers Cup. And in athletics, we have a look at the ongoing 2018 European Championships in Glasgow and Berlin. And we are in Morocco for the Spanish Super Cup. You are listening to The Locker Room on Joy 99.7 FM. Hello from me, George Addo Jr., and welcome.
When the referee's whistle sounds, when the beautiful flicks and tricks account for the goals and wins, when the tempers flare and the passion is in overdrive, where do you stand as a fan? It is time to turn your passion into some real cash. Monetize your shouts at 138.com, the newest and best sports betting and virtual gaming company in town. Sign up and enjoy 100% bonus on your first deposit on www.138.com/Africa. Experience live in play with unbeatable odds and endless markets and prompt payment. Mobile money enabled with quick deposit and easy withdrawal. Visit any of our retail shops in Accra at Alaju, Caprice, Jamestown, Taifa, Suwatum, and Teshi. In Kaswa at Newmarket and Ufako. 138.com is licensed by the Gaming Commission of Ghana and it is not for persons below age 18. Bet responsibly. Call 050-913-8138 for any inquiries. Join the winning team now. 138.com. Win every day.
Hooray! The Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited's Back to School promotion is here with us again from the 1st of August.
The pace of change in the world today calls for adaptability. How does today's family remain flexible and keep time-tested values? How do we ensure a healthy work and family life balance? On Home Affairs, our greatest pleasure is to see you run your home like the master chef who is able to combine all the ingredients together in the right proportions to make that lip-smacking cuisine that everybody loves. Join me, Adam Knight, and my guests as we explore the issues confronting today's home and find an answers to make tomorrow's home a better one. Home Affairs comes your way every Saturday morning from 6:15 all through to 7:30 a.m. Home Affairs is brought to you by Indomie. Tastes great. Access Bank, giving you speed, service, and security. CB Men and Women Capsules. Fritol, making life memorable. And Onga, Mama's helping hand. Home Affairs, making homes out of houses.
Hello there, hop in. Let's go on a ride to the countryside. Prepare for smoothness through Countryland. Every Sunday between 10 a.m. and midday. Tune in to Joy 99.7 FM for your favorite country music. Lock it in on your calendar. It's Countryland on Joy 99.7 FM. Simply call me Iggy.
Countryland on Joy 99.7 FM.
The weekend has landed.
Check this out. My name is DJ Black. I'm live this and every Friday, 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. on the Weekend Warmer. Flipping tracks back to back, digging in the Chris and throwing it back because the name is Black. Lock it in and join me this Friday from 8 p.m. because anything can happen on the show. There is no better way to start your weekend than with his blackness. It's the Weekend Warmer on Joy 99.7 FM.
Live on radio, live online, this is The Locker Room with George Addo Jr.
Great to have you here on a Friday afternoon. Time to talk about what the world is talking about in the world of sport. You have to head on to our WhatsApp line now, 0244340437. And you've got a question to quickly answer. Do you think Pep Guardiola should prioritize the Champions League over the EPL or the other way? The English Premier League season begins tonight, and we'll be talking about the games to look forward to. Manchester City, obviously, will be playing on Sunday against Arsenal. That game is live on the Joy Sports Arena, commentary courtesy our partners, the BBC. We also will be bringing you that coming. And we'll be talking about Manchester United. They play Leicester City to open the English Premier League later tonight. But we have to start with boxing, and you know what? Ahead of the Kabik Boxing Night at the Bukom Arena, Nathaniel Arthur is ready with all details for the Big 3 WBO Africa title bouts involving Ghanaian boxers in this report. Enjoy this.
Ghana's Patrick Alote defends his WBO Africa Junior Middleweight title against Batru Lusambia of Uganda at the Bukom Boxing Arena. Now, Alote has 38 wins, 30 of them coming by way of knockout, and 3 losses, while Lusambia has won 26 times, lost twice, and drawn 3 times. The hard-hitting Alote, who trains under the respected Ufori Asare, is the darling boy of the home fans and is expected to have the massive backing of the expected crowd at the arena. The WBO Africa interim heavyweight title will be up for grabs when former Ghana heavyweight champion Richard Harrison, Latte, who has a record of 12 wins and a loss, faces Maurice Okala, who has a record of 10 wins and 2 losses, a southpaw from Kenya who holds the country's heavyweight title. Now, Latte failed to honor a Commonwealth title fight against Joe Joyce last month due to visa challenges and looks forward to making up with this big bout. Undefeated Ghana super middleweight champion Emmanuel Mate, who who has 12 straight wins, will battle Sunday Ajua, who has a record of 13 wins and 3 losses. Ajua from Nigeria will battle the Ghanaian for the vacant WBO Africa Super Middleweight title. Tickets are still on sale here at Joy 99.7 FM.
Every reason to be at the Bukom Arena to watch the Kabek Fight Night. A lot coming up there. But you know, it's a kind and really the time of the season where we begin to sing these anthems. And I know where you're trying to put this through. All right, so Manchester United will begin tonight. They're up against Leicester City. There's a lot of talk to come there, but I had a wonderful chat with my colleague and a great friend from the BBC, John Bennett. We're talking a lot about what we've seen in the transfer window and, of course, the games to look forward to. I see your messages on our WhatsApp line. Quickly send more. 0244 340 437. Do add your expectations of your club, you know, just at the start of the 2018-2019 season. Some of you can wait, but for now, the Joy Sports BBC two-way series. Thanks, John. Great to speak to you again, and especially after the English Premier League transfer window. How good or bad was this for the top clubs, and will these signings change anything about last season's standings?
Well, let's go through all the top 6 teams, shall we? Let's start with Manchester City. I think they had a decent transfer window. They didn't need to add much, did they? But what they did add, the likes of Riyad Mahrez, I think will complement their squad. Liverpool had a fantastic transfer window. Xherdan Shaqiri adds options in attack. Fabinho, Naby Keita, fantastic midfielders. Alisson is one of the best goalkeepers in the world. Chelsea, I think it's mixed for them. They lost the likes of Thibaut Courtois, but having said that, they have brought in a lot of quality. Their midfield is looking very strong, and I particularly like their new manager, Maurizio Sarri. Manchester United, so frustrated in the transfer market, unable to bring in a centre-back. I do like the signing of Fred, though, in midfield. I think he'll help to get the best out of Paul Pogba. So it's not all bad for United, despite all the headlines that we're reading. I think they've got a good young right-back as well in Dalot as well. So that will be a good signing for them. Arsenal, pretty decent. No one world-class that really makes you sit back and be fearful of Arsenal, but some good players who will complement their team. And then you've got Tottenham, who didn't sign a single player during the transfer window. The first time that has happened since the summer window was introduced in 2003. I wouldn't get too carried away. Tottenham Hotspur still have a fantastic team. They kept all of their star players. But speaking to ex-pros this week who have been in at the BBC, they say you always need a bit of freshness in a squad. You always need 1 or 2 new faces to refresh things. So that is a bit of a worry, I think, for Tottenham Hotspur.
John, let's delve into the club signings proper. And it seemed rather difficult for Manchester United to attract a player on deadline day. Has the prestige of playing for Manchester United diminished?
Well, it just baffles me as to why they haven't been able to bring in a centre-back. Why didn't they bring in Toby Alderweireld? It seems as though the door was wide open to get him. Instead, I think they've wasted time trying to go after Diego Godin, who they were never going to be able to sign. Harry Maguire, who they were never going to be able to sign. It does strike me as bizarre. And why didn't they try and sign a centre-back before the World Cup? If Jose Mourinho knew that was a deficiency in the team, why didn't they go after a centre-back at the start of the summer transfer window? There is a bit of a caveat to that. Apparently, they did try and sign the likes of Rafael Varane, but they were put off by the high transfer fees. This is Manchester United we're talking about. They shouldn't be put off by big transfer fees. They should be one of the biggest clubs in the world. They are one of the biggest clubs in the world, if not the biggest. They should be paying top dollar for these players. Rafael Varane, you need to pay a massive amount to get him to your club if you really want him. So I wouldn't get totally downcast if I was a Manchester United fan. I still think it's a good squad. I still think they can challenge Manchester City, possibly finishing second again. But it is a big weakness in their team, that centre-back area.
John, let's talk the likes of Fulham, Everton, West Ham, who did some good business. And is that enough to propel them into the top 4 places at the end of the season?
You always have to worry when a team signs too many players. There are so many examples down the years of when it's gone wrong. Arsene Wenger used to say that you should only sign a maximum of 3 in every summer transfer window because it is so hard to integrate the new players. Remember when Tottenham signed Gareth Bale? They signed 7 new players to replace Gareth Bale, and it didn't work at all. Remember when Liverpool lost Luis Suarez? They signed about 5 or 6 new players. It didn't work at all. So there is always a danger. I think Fulham, on paper, have had a good transfer window, but they signed 5 players on transfer deadline day alone. What effect will that have on the team spirit that took Fulham to the Premier League last season? Wolverhampton Wanderers, again, they've signed a lot of players, and on paper, quality players, João Moutinho, Leander Dendoncker. But again, how will that affect their team? I actually think Wolves will have a decent season. Everton haven't signed huge numbers. I think it seems as though they did because they signed 3 or 4 on deadline day. But I feel they needed to sign that many players. West Ham, I think they needed a lot of new talent. But again, I think maybe they've signed 1 or 2 too many players. It's going to be difficult for them to get some momentum going at the start of the season. There is always a danger that you sign too many players in a summer window.
The new season is upon us, John, with fans down here very excited with a lineup on match day 1. Before the details about who plays who, are City equipped to defend the trophy? And in your opinion, what should be a priority for Pep? The Champions League or the EPL this season?
I think he needs to make his priority to win both. I think they have the quality in that team to win both as well. The one area which is a slight weakness is defensive midfield. I think they could have done with another defensive midfielder. Possibly another centre-back, although that maybe is clutching at straws, trying to pick a weakness. I think they look very strong. I think they have what it takes to win both the Premier League title and the Champions League. Liverpool, on paper, look like the closest challengers. I still think Manchester United can be up there as well, despite the fact that they didn't have a great summer transfer window. Riyad Mahrez, I think, adds great competition in the wide areas. It just means that the likes of Leroy Sané can't rest on his laurels. He knows that Riyad Mahrez is there to take his place. There's brilliant competition in nearly all of the areas. Sergio Aguero, Gabriel Jesus, that's going to be a fantastic battle up front. Vincent Kompany, if he stays fit, I think that'll be a huge bonus. We know the goalkeeper, Ederson, is one of the best in the Premier League. So they have what it takes to challenge again. And I think they are equipped to win both the Champions League and the Premier League title. In the Champions League, you need a bit of luck. And if they get some of that luck, then they could go all the way to the final.
Finally, John, are there any surprises you suspect on match day 1 with Manchester City, Manchester United, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool all in action?
Well, I would look out for Tottenham Hotspur because we know that they didn't sign a single player during the transfer window. We know that they're struggling a bit to get players back from the World Cup. Newcastle, it's all doom and gloom. It all seems to be doom and gloom with them. They haven't had good signings, but they've still got the core of the team that finished 10th last season. So I think Newcastle could cause an upset against Tottenham on the opening weekend of the season. I think that's going to be an interesting game. What I will say, though, George, is good luck to your team, Chelsea. I hope they have a good season under Maurizio Sarri. I'm looking forward to seeing how they play. It could go either way, to be honest. It could be absolutely fantastic. It could be a complete disaster. I hope for your sake it's the former rather than the latter. I just don't know what to expect from Leicester City this season. There was a lot of negativity last season. Signed a really good player from the Championship called Maddison. He is one to watch. Very good attacking midfielder. But there are still some weak areas in that team. Harry Maguire, Jamie Vardy, I'm not sure if they'll play because they've just got back from the World Cup. Manchester United, despite everything that's been talked about, will be really motivated. So I'm a little worried about Leicester City. I do think it'll be a good game, though. Remember, Leicester were involved in the first game of last season against Arsenal, finished 4-3. So I'm really hoping we get another thriller tonight.
Live on radio, live online. This is The Locker Room with George Addo Jr.
And as well, we want to hear from you on our WhatsApp line, 0244340437. I've got one here already. Well, I got a couple. That Arsenal will return to the top 4 of the EPL standards at the end of the 2018-2019 season. Manager Unai Emery's era and the new signings mark a new phase in Arsenal this season. We look forward to that. I'll be telling you about what we've got for you in terms of our packages. There's a fantasy show that's going to be starting this afternoon. You can quickly head on to the Joy News channel on Multi-TV. Sports Today, yes, and you get to watch that. We are leading this all the way through. There will be commentary courtesy our partners, the BBC, and you know there will be the EPL Club, which begins on Sunday after we have listened into the Arsenal-Manchester City game. That will be live on Joy 99.7 FM. But we need to talk about, Pep Guardiola. You guys have been saying a lot about him. You know what? I think Pep has never managed a team where success would not or will not arrive anyway in some form or the other. He's rightly saluted for his 12 trophies at the Camp Nou, but Barcelona have won almost as many since he left, similarly as well with City, where last season's achievements on trophies alone were the exact replica of what Manuel Pellegrini rustled up in his first season. So the Champions League remains the unticked box for a manager routinely venerated as the best of his generation. What should be then the priority of Pep Guardiola this season? The EPL or the Champions League?
I will run, I will climb, I will soar. I'm undefeated.
Gundogan, first time shot, takes a deflection. Manchester City have the second goal, and it's Kompany who quenches the air with delight.
The last decade shows it's not easy, but we're going to try. But the best way is think and game by game.
David Silva, sharp turn. David Silva sealed it. David Silva low, left-footed.
The players know we are not exhausted. We are hungry, and we want to help them to be better and better players.
And up goes the trophy in the Etihad Stadium. The sky blue ribbons are on that Premier League trophy.
They are able and, willingness to do it. We will make a good season. If done, the other one is going to beat us.
Manchester City, the brilliant Premier League champions.
They're certainly pumped to run in the EPL, that's for sure. But you don't need a reminder of what happened.
De Bruyne gets the edge of the penalty area. Oh, quality goal! A game that always was going to need a quality goal to separate the sides, and that was
in the penalty area, tries to lob the goalkeeper and succeeds. Superbly taken by Aguero as Manchester City lead by a goal to nil. Gundogan, first time shot, takes a deflection. Manchester City have the second goal, and it's Kompany who quenches the air with delight.
The last decade shows it's not easy, but we're going to try. But the best way is think and game by game.
David Silva, sharp turn. David Silva sealed it. David Silva low, left-footed.
The players know we are not exhausted. We are hungry, and we want to help them to be better and better players.
And up goes the trophy in the Etihad Stadium. The sky blue ribbons are on that Premier League trophy.
All right, so joining me in studio to do the analysis right now, I've got Safo Bafojima. How are you doing this afternoon, Safo Bafojima?
Very well, George.
I have in studio as well Raymond Nyamado, who's joined me, going through his notes, interestingly. Raymond, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, George.
Joining us for the first time on the show, Kojo Mankwa. How are you doing? It's going to be one of the faces on a fantasy show. You have to check that out. Rick Wampofo is the face for that. But of course, he's doing a fantastic job. Yes, the new signing of Ado Junior concert, we say. Kojo, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, George.
Absolutely. Great to have him inside here. He's a fantastic Man City fan. And we'll see how this all goes, really, because we have to be praising Pep Guardiola for what he's done, but we're having another look, a really good look at Pep Guardiola. So let's put all of this on a level playing ground, so all of you listening in to us can follow the discussion from where we started from. So Raymond, it's good. I choose you then. Can we run through Pep's career? What has looked like already? I mean, since he took over, let me say, first-class football, starting from Barcelona team A.
Well, Pep Guardiola took over this Barcelona team in 2008 after a relatively, unsuccessful stint at the La Masia. So you look at what he's been able to achieve during the period when he was at Barcelona. He managed to win 2 Champions League with Barcelona. He won 3 La Liga titles with Barcelona during his stay in Spain. He then moved on to the Bundesliga, where he won 3 titles with Bayern Munich. He won 3 league titles with Bayern Munich, and then moved on to win 2 DFB Pokal Cups. In Spain, I think I left this one. He won 2 Copa del Rey titles in Spain. And then he moved to the English Premier League, where he managed to win the English Premier League title in his second season, as well as the League Cup. But he has a hat trick of, successes in the UEFA Super Cup, the Spanish Super Cup, the German Super Cup, and 3 titles in the FIFA Club World Cup. So that tells you that this is a manager who's won. Yes,
and the English Super Cup. Because the
Community Shield. Yes, one for that. So I think there's a man who has won titles everywhere he's been to. From Germany to Spain to England. He's a manager who has won the league title at least everywhere he's been. So, illustrious career with lots of trophies to his belt.
Can I stick with you then with my next question before I go around this? So, Prato is coming to Man City. Would you say Man City have moved on? Has that been a bit of success, the way you look at it?
Well, I think he came to a Man City side that had already won what he came to win. So, you look at the first title they won in 2012. That was under Roberto Mancini. That was a period where Manchester City decided to start their own project, the project to become a superpower like Manchester United. So during that time, Manchester City had only won the APL title in 1937 and 1968. So in 2012, it was a huge achievement for that club. They moved on to win it again under Manuel Pellegrini, in the 2013-2014 season. And that was again, that was the second time they were winning the EPL title. Now you look at the other trophies they won. They were able to win 1 FA Cup, in the early 2012s. And then they were able to win 2 League Cups before Pep Guardiola arrived. So what Pep Guardiola has been able to do ever since he arrived was to add 1 more League title and 1 more League Cup. So it makes it 3 League Cups, 1 FA Cup, and 5 EPL titles for Manchester City.
And you call that? Have they moved forward? You think so?
Well, you look at what Pep Guardiola did. I think Roberto Mancini was able to win the league title. Pellegrini was also able to win the league title, and he also won the League Cup. So that tells you that he never really did anything different from what the other managers won. So it was more of the same for Manchester City. The next step for Manchester City really would be the Champions League.
Right, good one. Now I'll come to you, Jim, on that. But I've seen most of you sending us messages and you're looking for our code. I mean, that's the fantasy code. Let's do it now. 1763770 -403990. Was I fast on that? 1763770 -403990. With Joy FM, you just, and the last time we were having the World Cup commentary, you thought nothing was going to come out. Somebody ran away with 2,000 Ghana cedis cash. So all you need to do is get into it and start playing. Play and play well. So I have to come to you, Jimmy, right now on that. And there's been an argument that if you want to win the Champions League, you have to be fortunate. You have to be fortunate. Sometimes it's not because the coach is not good. It's not because the players are not good enough, but you need a bit of luck, and that's the luck that seems to have eluded Pep Guardiola. Do you agree?
I agree with that assertion, George, because Raymond made emphasis on the fact that Guardiola, the next step for him ideally would be to win the Champions League. But go ask Unai Emery, who used to coach PSG, the kind of players they had at their disposal. The problem with the Champions League is that, George, you have quite a number of good teams across the European continent. So as we are talking now, Barcelona are seriously making reinforcements. So if you are Man City and you are in England and you are saying you play the best football in England and you are seeking to win the Champions League, you ask yourself, how are you going to do that when the likes of Barcelona, who already have big names, are making signings? Juventus, who have gone to the Champions League final twice in recent times, have brought in Ronaldo into their fold. The same for Real Madrid. Even though Ronaldo has left, they've brought in Thibaut Courtois. So it's a competition where teams across the continent makes reinforcement every now and then. Talk of Guardiola in his days in Bayern Munich. In his first season, he was eliminated by a very impressive Real Madrid side. And in any day, if you come up against Madrid in the Champions League, it's likely you're going to be beaten. In the second year, when Barca were at the peak of their prowess, under Luis Enrique, you had the likes of Neymar, Messi, and Suarez. And Bayern Munich came up against them and they fell short. And ideally, if you fall short against that Barca side, you wouldn't have much complaint about it. For me, I think the only circumstance under which Guardiola wouldn't have much reprieve was when his City side lost out against AS Monaco. For me, I think it was that opportunity that I guess he missed. But last year against Liverpool, even though they had beaten Liverpool in the first leg of the Premier League by 5-0 after Mane was sent off at the Etihad, Liverpool beat them 4-3 in the second leg in the Premier League. But at the time they came up against Liverpool in the Champions League, you would bear with me, Liverpool aside, say, AS Roma, who were quite impressive, Liverpool was one of the best sides in the Champions League last season. So if Guardiola unfortunately find himself in the quarter-final draw against Liverpool and they are beating, for me, I would say he was unlucky. So
you say he's unlucky, but you made the point about having the big sides. If you've handled Bayern Munich, that's a big side, and that's a side you should be able to win the Champions League with cheeky ease.
No, it's not. That's not the case, George, because.
And it wasn't like he wasn't given the money.
For the big size,
somebody didn't give him money,
when the big
he
size
still had anyone to buy. If he wanted to buy, he would be giving money to buy.
When the big size meet, there are fine margins.
So he was at Bayern Munich for 3 seasons.
For 3 seasons.
That's enough time.
For 3 seasons. The problem is that the moment you will think that once you meet Madrid, you can be able to meet Madrid. But something comes up. You have a Ronaldo. You have at the time the likes of James Rodriguez, Gareth Bale were playing so well. The next season you would say you are going to beat Barcelona, but you happen to meet a Barcelona side that were on top form. When you have Suarez, Messi, Neymar, all on top form, whether you have the likes of Thiago Alcantara, Robert Lewandowski, or Müller.
It still doesn't make sense. So let's do a little bit of analysis right now. He's calling it luck. But now, since he won the Champions League with Barcelona, he's not done it. And we've had years go by. And in all these instances, 3 seasons with Bayern Munich, 2 seasons with Man City, it's still luck.
Before Raymond comes in, since he left Bayern Munich, has Bayern Munich won the Champions League?
No, that's an entirely different thing, because he was sent to Bayern Munich to make them win the Champions League.
But the bottom line is that you are making reference to the players he had at Bayern. And these same players have not been able to win the Champions League. Madrid has won it 3 times in a row, apart from Barcelona, who has won it in recent times. If you lose out against Atletico Madrid, who have been to the Champions League final 2 times in recent times, George, for me, you need some element of luck. I understand you.
Let's look at the other side of it now. Do you think there's something Pep is doing wrong in the Champions League?
There's a lot Pep is doing wrong in the Champions League. And you look at the team that he won with in Barcelona. He was fortunate to beat Manchester United twice, playing the same style of football. Manchester United decided not to react to the kind of football he was playing, because legendary Sir Alex Ferguson will tell you he was, a disciple of beautiful football as well. I think on hindsight, Ferguson will tell you if he had decided to go pragmatic against Barcelona, he would have been able to win one of those Champions League finals. That said, you look at Pep Guardiola and the kind of reputation he built for himself. He built a reputation for himself as one of those coaches who is a top-notch coach in Europe. So Bayern Munich went for him simply because they felt that this was a coach who was going to keep their, European project going on. And at the time he inherited this Bayern Munich team, Jupp Heynckes had won the treble with this Bayern Munich team. So that was a team that had a lot of players who had experience in the Champions League and the players who had a lot of quality when it comes to playing at the big stage. What did Pep Guardiola do? He decided to ingrain that team with his own kind of philosophy, the tiki-taka philosophy. And we all know that Pep Guardiola has only one way of playing football. He only knows how to play the beautiful game, pass the ball around effectively, take advantage of the spaces that you are given and score goals, win matches. That is how he knows how to play most of those matches. But look at the teams he's lost against Atletico Madrid. We all know how they play their football. Pragmatic football, they try to play on the break. Those were the teams that he always struggled with. Consistently, he struggled to deal with those teams. Again, you look at his last performance, playing against Monaco in the Champions League. And you ask yourself, after taking a 3-1 lead, why couldn't Pep Guardiola just shut up shop? Why couldn't he just try to play pragmatic football and see the team through to the next stage of the competition? He failed woefully to do that. And so I would put the blame down on his tactics. He has failed to adapt in Europe. He has failed to simply adapt to the tactics that teams would actually come up with. Every time he's tried to play the same brand of football, the same attacking philosophy, and he's failed to take advantage of the fact that, look, I need a plan B. I need to go direct sometimes. I need to shut up shop. I need to soak up the pressure and try to play on the break and win matches. He has failed to do that consistently. And I think that at Barcelona, what helped him was the fact that he had Xavi and Iniesta in their prime. He had Messi in his prime. He had all those players who were world beaters at the time. Really, the fear factor alone was enough to defeat teams. At this time, at Barcelona, at Bayern Munich, at Manchester City,
he needs to put a team together.
So he needed to put a team together to get the job done.
I've got this
that
message.
Has been his problem.
I've got this message coming in from Stephen Ayensu from Teshi Nungwa Estate. It says, are we talking about prioritization? Look here, with Pep's side, the facts of the matter, I don't know if that's good English, but well, that's what you've got, is that Pep always goes for all. He will do the same coming the season, and with all trophies in mind. A quick reaction, so you want to ask that, but he's made the point about him failing. And indeed, when you look at Pep Guardiola, he has coaches he just cannot beat, and they keep on beating him, like Klopp.
Now, George, let's ask ourselves the simple question. Since Guardiola won the Champions League the last time, how many clubs have won the Champions League? It's only 3. Barcelona, Bayern Munich, and Real Madrid.
But the fact that Barcelona have won it again, it should tell you, and Enrique should tell you that there's some work in doing that.
But the bottom line is that for a side like Barcelona, you would say Bayern Munich has already had players, and you would expect that after winning the treble with Jupp Heynckes, Guardiola would have went on to win the Champions League with Bayern. But the bottom line is that with the way the Champions League works, once you think you are strengthening within your enclave or your country, the other big teams are also strengthening. So for me, George, until you are able to have the luck of the draw, the lack of the game, be it fine margins between yourself.
Bayern Munich when Heynckes came, all this, they were back in that semi-final. They were pushing to a final. They were very close. Last season,
but
they almost beat Madrid, but they were close.
They win it. They came up against Madrid. Once again, Madrid beat them. They came up against Madrid and they were beating Madrid.
Okay.
Under Guardiola.
Let me bring in
crucially, Pep Guardiola's tactics has failed to transcend beyond a certain point.
And that is his problem.
That is his problem. The tactics.
When he comes up against pragmatic coaches.
Against pragmatic coaches, he's found out. He finds it very difficult to go past them. That has been his problem in the Champions League. And against Liverpool last season, we also what happened.
I thought we saw that again when Manchester United played Man City and the Etihad.
Absolutely.
It was another big lesson for him. So right now, because you're a Man City fan, I mean, what do you want now this season? No team or no champion has been able to defend this trophy since 2009. Would you want your club to concentrate on that or go for the Champions League because of the love you have for Pep Guardiola? Time is running out. This is the 3rd season.
Yeah, honestly, I'd like him to go all out for the Champions League. The Premier League, we can throw it away because we won't finish outside the top 4. We'll eventually qualify for the Champions League again. So this year is all or nothing. We have to go for it.
Do you think it's workable?
It's workable.
Sure about that?
Yeah, because now we brought in Mahrez, and Mahrez is different from our options in Sané, Bernardo, Sterling. As in, he can go at you inside and outside. He can go 1v1. He can create from wide. He can do a lot of things, but we didn't have that same profile last season.
And that's why you lost to Liverpool. Sure about that?
Honestly, if Mahrez was in Sané's place versus Liverpool, he would have beaten Trent Alexander-Arnold every time, and we would have won those
We'll activate our phone lines alongside. Let's hear from you. What do you think Pep must do at this point in his career? 0302216541. Should it be the EPL retaining this, or should it be, winning the Champions League? And I come to you on that.
Well, I think crucially, when Pep
how would one affect the other? If you decide to go for the Champions League, if you decide to target the two, which is always very difficult?
Well, targeting the two would be very difficult for Pep Guardiola because the English Premier League itself is very competitive. There are lots of teams that have strengthened their teams and will definitely want to go at it. And so if he decides to concentrate on the EPL, then definitely it has to be all eggs into one basket, the EPL. If he decides to combine the two, then definitely he would have problems rotating the squad. He would have problems, with fatigue getting to a certain point in time in the Champions League. When it starts properly, from February, March, that's when his team will be very fatigued. But George, I think crucially for Pep Guardiola, his work is well cut out for him. He replaced Emmanuel Pellegrini, who got Manchester City to the semi-finals semi-finals of the Champions League. Now, the reason why he was sacked was the fact that he could not win the Champions League for them. Mancini also left because he failed to perform in Europe. Crucially for Man City, they want to perform in Europe. They want to be considered as a superpower when it comes to European football. And that's why they brought a manager like Pep Guardiola, because he has the experience of winning.
Just hold on. Let's go for a first caller then. Dennis is calling us from Hacho. Dennis.
George, I salute.
Yes, salute you. Are you what? Man City fan? But a Pep fan? What are you?
Oh, Pep way.
So tell me, what does he need to do now? I mean, win the Champions League or the EPL?
I think he should go for the Champions League. It's a risk he has to take because it has, I think, 7 games, right?
Yeah.
7 games.
Crucial.
So he should throw in all the towel. If he misses one chance, that's the end. The Premiership is 20 games throughout. So he can struggle to win it again. But the Champions League is just 7 games. So just put it
so he should go
there.
for it. All right, thank you very much.
Okay,
thank you very much, Dennis, for your call there. And there was a quick one there that Chelsea won the Champions League in 2012.
Yes. Oh, okay. Yeah.
So somebody's trying to put that what they have Bayern themselves there. In 2013, they've got Madrid, there 2014, 2016, 2017, even at 2018 to that, of course. Barcelona with 2015. Quick one
so
there.
George, like
I've got another call on the line then. Yaro is calling us from Nkoko. Yaro, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Daddy. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Tell me, what do you think? Pep goes for EPL or the Champions League?
Actually, I'm not a Man City fan.
You don't care what happens to them?
I don't wish them well. I'm the Red Devil. This is the original Red Devil.
Manchester United fan?
You said?
Manchester United fan?
Red Devil, definitely. You don't need to be told.
And you're expecting to win You're expecting to win the EPL this season?
Why not?
Seriously?
Definitely, George. No matter whatever the situation may be, whether the players are hot, good or whatever it is, they are still Manchester United hot players. We have belief in them. So Moro should stop defending and allow them to play their regular position. Some a player like Marco Rojo need to play number 3.
Regular position.
To number 2.
Okay.
Definitely, by all means, inshallah, we're going to carry the whole season.
Thank you very much. I think Kweku from Lingo will be my final caller. Kweku, how are you doing this afternoon?
Yeah, George, very good. Hope you are good too.
I'm good. Tell me, what do you think? Pep Guardiola goes for the EPL or the Champions League?
Well, George, I believe he can do both. Okay, I believe Pep can take the EPL. Okay, and set a record, and then go for the Champions League title too. You just surprised you guys. Good afternoon, George.
Yeah, good afternoon. That was really quick. And I think that will do it for the phone calls. Let me come to Raymond. Quickly finish the point for me there.
Yeah, so like I was saying, Pep Guardiola has to focus on winning the Champions League because that is the level Manchester City want to get to. That is where the owners want to see the club. He was brought in specifically to do that. And that's why Pellegrini had to go.
He must win the Champions League.
He must win the Champions League.
If he doesn't win the Champions League.
And George, you look at how this team has performed in the last couple of Champions League matches I've seen Pep Guardiola play. I think they are getting close, but Pep Guardiola has to decide what he wants more, Champions League or the league. And that's where the problem comes in.
Jimak, very quick one here.
I don't think he has to put his egg in one basket. He needs to concentrate on all the competitions he's playing.
That could be the problem.
The Champions League group stages does not start until October. So between August, September,
you can
wait for the Champions League.
But you can win the league in that period.
You have to play the big matches as you wish to win it. For me, the Champions League comes as you play the competition. For Ronaldo, for instance, Ronaldo has often won the world best because he scores his goals during the quarterfinals and the knockout stages of the Champions League.
The knockout stages is next year.
So it's next year.
So when the EPL is going up.
You play the EPL as you would expect to win it.
Okay.
You play the FA Cup and the Carling Cup.
Okay.
When you get to the Champions League and you feel you have the chance to win it, then you go for it.
Okay, let's do this right now. We're talking about the games to come. We know Manchester United will play Leicester City tonight, but of course, there are some other games to look forward to this weekend in the EPL.
It's a 10-month journey for one of the most coveted trophies in sports, which kicks off with 2 former champions this evening as Manchester United entertain Leicester City at Old Trafford. Jose Mourinho's side have endured a difficult pre-season full of transfer frustrations, but have won their opening game in each of the last 3 seasons. Mauricio Sarri takes charge of his first Premier League game as Chelsea manager when they travel to Huddersfield Town on the opening weekend of the season. The former Napoli boss has had less than a month to settle into the hot seat before the big kickoff, so Huddersfield will be hoping to catch their London visitors off guard. Tottenham commenced the new league season with a Saturday lunchtime kickoff against Newcastle at St James's Park. Liverpool had a brilliant pre-season, but the serious business begins this weekend with a new look West Ham side providing the opposition at Anfield on Sunday. Manchester City begin their hand for back-to-back Premier League champions against Arsenal at the Emirates on Sunday. The game of the opening weekend pits a side desperate for a fresh start against one looking for more of the same. Bournemouth will host Cardiff City. Fulham embark on their return to the Premier League with a clash against London rivals Crystal Palace. Watford take on Brighton. Burnley travel to Southampton. And it is the dawn of a new era for Everton as Marco Silva takes the helm, looking to pick up the pieces from a disappointing 2017-2018 campaign against Wolverhampton Wanderers, who make their return to the Premier League.
Okay, so let's do this quickly before we step out there. Let me go through this. 30 seconds each. We can start then with Manchester United. You play Leicester City tonight. What are you expecting?
Banana skin for Manchester United. You look at Manchester United, they don't look like they are in the best position so far. They don't look like they are in a very good position now.
Surprise win for Leicester City. You're calling for?
They're going to have the services of Paul Pogba, Nemanja Matic, Lukaku.
I know.
That is the United.
So Leicester will win this game.
Leicester look like a team that can trouble them. They have lots of young players in there.
I know.
Has brought in James Maddison, who is fantastic.
I know. So Leicester's
I think that
game.
Leicester City could just spoil Jose Mourinho's party.
Jeez, you told me what his scoreline is. What's your prediction there? 1-1.
A slim 1-0 win for Leicester City.
Oh, for Leicester City on that. Arsenal play Man City. That's our commentary game tomorrow.
A slim 2-1 win because Emery is a very pragmatic coach, and
That's
as you
true.
said, Pep struggles against them. So a slim 2-1 win.
But Man City winning at the Emirates, that's it for you.
Yeah.
Chelsea Huddersfield, that's a big game. You guys, you have to look out for that game.
Big game,
it's a game in which Huddersfield have a big chance, over 300%.
Most importantly, with Huddersfield playing at home, even though Sarri is still trying to get his idea across, I think Chelsea might edge that one, George.
So, guys, thank you very much for joining me there. Of course, Jima joining me, and of course, Kojo Mankwa, Raymond Yamado. We're looking forward to a wonderful season, and it should be very, very, very exciting as we go through this as well.